What's up, everyone? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers, and break down what's happening with the market moving forward, as we have very important pieces of news coming in that will affect us, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, but the entire community as a whole. Anyways, as far as the market goes, we're going to be looking at this key resistance on SPY around this 523 area. If we manage to break this zone above our 20 EMA, there could be little attempts to push back up to 525, then 528. If we fail to do so and we end up rejecting, I'll be looking at 515 as key support. If that fails, this thing is going to be dropping lower. So you want to be very careful at these levels. Now, what's going on with the news for the markets? As a reminder, at 10:10 a.m., with the economic optimism report, not to mention total household debt for Q2 coming out at 11 o'clock a.m., then a bunch of bill auctions. So much of the data is very minor, but expect some volatility around 10 to 11:30 a.m. between that entire range. 30 minutes to about an hour and a half after market open. So we'll just have to see how things end up going. Might be some volatility between those hours. Besides that, there's been a lot of talk by the Fed, at least different Fed officials, and they're very, very mixed. Some people from the Fed are saying that the Fed is going to have to cut. They have to do this to address a lot of the issues that are going on. And simultaneously, there are other officials saying quite the opposite, right? So we're seeing, one of the Federal Reserve presidents from California saying that the Fed is likely not going to take action, whereas the Chicago Federal Reserve president is saying the exact opposite, saying that they have to respond to the weakness as fast as possible and do an emergency cut. So some people have very, very different views, and this is causing some uncertainty, at least for the markets. The market was pricing an 83% chance of the Fed giving us a 50 basis point cut by September. Now it's reduced to 75%. So the market's becoming a little bit less certain, a little bit less confident about us getting to rate cuts, or even like a 50 basis point worth of rate cuts by September. So this is causing the market to kind of shop around a little bit. On top of this, with the uncertainty that's going on, that's very, very important. For earnings for today, we just have Uber and Supermicro announcing earnings. So I'll see how things go after the market closes. I'll go over Supermicro later on. And then I also want to talk about this. This is a little bit concerning. There's still, a lot of violence that's perpetuating in the Middle East. And I just want to say that if there's a big response, if something really, really big happens, we have to be careful, guys. This could cause a big move in the markets. So if the market's trading like normal and all of a sudden you guys see a big dump, don't be surprised. Keep this in the back of your mind in case there is a big attack. I'm seeing a lot of news that suggests that there might be an attack as soon as today or tomorrow. So be careful, guys. I really hope that's not the case. But if that does happen, it's going to cause a big move as well. So you want to be very mindful, very careful with all of that. So, anyways, for SPY, watch this 522 zone break. That 525 is coming, then 528, and an attempts to fill the gap. If we reject and we don't hold, well, we have one support at 518. If that breaks, I'll be looking at 515. If 515 fails on SPY, this thing has a risk of dipping all the way down to the 510 area. So make sure you guys are very careful. There's uncertainty involving the Fed right now. There's some officials who are saying that there won't be a cut coming, no emergency meeting. Others are saying the exact opposite. I personally think the Fed is going to wait for the least CPI, which is just like, about a week away. I think that's what the Fed is going to likely do before making any decision. So we'll have to see how things go. But like I said in my video yesterday, if the Fed starts saying things like there's not going to be a meeting, this and that, there's no emergency cut coming, that could cause the market to dip. And that's what I mentioned yesterday. So far, we have to be very careful. Market's kind of flat, so we'll give it some time. It was attempting to rebound. SPY does have an uptrend attempting to form, but we have to break key resistance to see this perpetuate. So be very mindful of that. For Nvidia, we're looking a little bit more bullish, a little bit more. We got to break past 104.5. If we break that, we could be going back up towards 108 almost. If we get a rejection, lose 100, we'll be tipping all the way down towards the 97 area. This chart is looking a bit more bullish, making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. It's going to push a little higher, but like I said before, you want to be watching these levels carefully and see if you can break past 104.5 to really start pushing on Nvidia. Bitcoin is range bound. We have resistance at 56,000. If we break 56,000, look for a big push on Bitcoin. If we reject, look at support. Well, if we fail to reclaim 55,000, we could be dipping back down to 54,000. That's where this imbalance happens to be. If that fails us, we're going to be dipping lower. We're range bound right now between 4,500 and about 55,000 right now on Bitcoin's kind of choppy, but it's looking a little bit more bearish to me. So that does add to the risk of downside. For Tesla, we're kind of flat right now, completely flat. We are trying to push a little bit in the green. We're kind of gapping up, but we're still trading sideways. If we break 207, there's going to be a bigger push coming towards 214. If we lose, this 198 area will be dipping all the way down towards 195, and then eventually all the way down to the low 190s we go. We're in the middle, just shuffling in the low 200s, so watch this continue as time goes on, and there's not really a whole lot else that's going on with this. For the QQQ, if we're bullish and break 440, we'll be looking for basically 444. If we're bearish and we lose 435, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 432. We're in the middle going back and forth, not really doing much. There is an attempt to go higher, making higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low. There might be an attempt to push if we could try to break this resistance at 442, but we need to do that for confirmation. If we fail to do so, this is going to likely just continue to chop around. And if we end up losing 432, we're turning back down. So be careful with that. We'll see how things go. There's uncertainty involving the Fed. Apple's also range bound. Look at this 212 area. If we break that, we turn bullish. If we lose 204, however, 204, we turn bearish. We're in the middle. We're trying to show some weakness in Apple, so just be careful. So it's very mixed right now. For the IWM, if we break past 206, we'll be turning bullish. If we lose 202, we turn bearish, so just be careful. For Coinbase, if we lose 188, we're going to be turning back down all the way down towards the 180 area. If we break past 201, we could turn back up into like the 210 area. We're still kind of stuck for now. Amazon, we got to break past 162. If we break that, I'll be looking for 165. If that breaks, then we turn bullish. If we end up losing 160, look for 158 all over again. We're still shuffling. Meta is showing some strength, trying to push. It's getting very tight right now. We got to break past 485 to turn back up. And if we end up losing 475, we turn back down. We're still in the middle, not really doing much. Microsoft is also kind of stuck. If we lose 395, we turn back down on Microsoft. If we break 404, we turn bullish. Got to be watching that. This is a little bit more bullish of a trend, but we got to break that 404 resistance to really start pushing. Otherwise, we're still range bound. And then for Google, I'm not really liking the chart too much. I want to see it break 166 to really start pushing. If we end up losing support at 160, look for support all the way down here around the 157.5 area. So we're still kind of stuck. So give this some time. But anyways, with that being said, I just want to thank you all for listening. I hope you guys have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours to give you guys another update, but just be mindful of the fact that the Fed is saying a lot of things right now, especially about how there may or may not be an emergency cut. The odds don't really favor that, in my opinion, that there's going to be one. And then there's also this news involving Israel. Please be very careful. If anything big happens, the market's going to make a huge move, so just wait and see. With that being said, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys in a few hours, and peace out.